Welcome to the Professional Lovers Channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we're the Professional Lovers. We're glad that you're here. We have been married 27 years, and in that time, we've been able to facilitate relationships for married couples and engaged to be married couples.
Yeah.
And so if you are interested in having the best relationship you can be, then we think you're in the right place, because throughout this Married at First Sight Season 12, we'll definitely be sharing tips on how you can prepare yourself for a good relationship and how you can be a partner in a good relationship.
Perfect word. Partner.
So, let's get started again. We apologize as we're a day late. Al's been working late for the past few weeks. He works at a school. It's registration time.
Yes.
And so when he gets home, sometimes it's been a little bit too late to watch the show on the night that it airs. And so we're a day late, but that's okay. Better late than never.
True.
And last night's show was all about weddings.
Yes. 3
of the couples we watched get married.
Which is all we're going to talk about tonight.
Just the 3 couples. We don't want to make any
presumptions, assumptions,
or pass any judgments on the little bit of preview that we got on Paige and Chris. So we'll save that all for next week.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the 3 that they did focus on in last night's episode, which were Clara and Ryan,
Virginia and Eric,
and Brianna and Vincent.
Yes.
So 2 out of the 3, I got good vibes watching, and the third one,
not a bad vibe.
Not a bad vibe, mixed vibes, just, wondering how it's going to unfold. So let's just talk about them in the order that they showed them. And the first was Clara and Ryan. So what stood out to you about them?
Their communication ability, their naturalness, and actually they had a real conversation as far as I could see from the beginning. Again, it may have been cut and put together and produced just the way it needed to be.
But from what we saw, they had conversation. They started out with conversation,
and it was good. It was ways of expressing who you are and asking the other who they may be, and allowing each other to be free and how they felt, and it was just a good vibe.
But I think they even started out with good questions. I mean, when they left, after the marriage to do their little personal toasting and celebration before meeting back up for pictures and stuff. I mean, they were asking some pretty heavy questions to just have met.
But pertinent. Critical. There's things that you eventually would come across. But even in the manner and how they asked them, it wasn't awkward. It wasn't overly probing, but it was inquisitive, and I think it was genuine.
It was honest, because when he asked her fear, and she said that I'll fall in love with you, and you won't love me back.
Yeah.
I get the sense that they don't have a problem being vulnerable from the very beginning.
Yeah. Well,
putting it all out. No, people want to kind of close themselves off and protect themselves, and they seem, especially Clara, with that statement, seemed willing to just put herself
out there,
all the way out there.
But it tends to be her, from what we've seen, her natural propensity to do.
And he seems to go against the stereotypical man grain of being a talker.
Yeah. No, he's
stereotypically men hold their emotions in. They don't say much. They don't. You've got to pull conversation out of them, especially if it's something that makes them uncomfortable. Right. But when his friend during the toast said that, a text would be fine, but he's like FaceTiming you all the time. So
and he admitted, I got things to say.
Yeah, I want to talk to you. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because at one point during the reception, she, when her friends came up and asked about if she wanted to change into her Nikes or and whatever, and she started going a mile a minute. I'm not sure what that expression was.
He had a blank look.
It was blank, it was blank, and it was hard to read what he was thinking. So, but I got good vibes from them.
I did too. I mean, they looked comfortable with one another. Matter of fact, no, actually that was somebody else. But
no, but they did look comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't get with that blindfold thing, though.
It was intriguing. I mean, it gave a different twist of suspense to the whole thing, because it wouldn't be like seeing from a distance and seeing a dress, seeing a tuxedo, and then you focus in on who you are. No, they were face to face, right up on each other, and when they unfolded, it wasn't even about everything else that they were wearing. They were looking into each other's eyes.
That could be scary.
It could be, yeah. But, I mean, and the thing about it, I think what preempted it to me that made it a little bit more palatable was that they touched each other beforehand.
And well, that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted to be able to, touch, have touch be the first form of communication.
Yeah. And well, it's a little different using other senses to, absorb someone.
Well, so we'll see. Right now, they look like they've got the award for best communication. We'll see how that unfolds, because even during the reception, they were talking so much they didn't hear
anybody else when it was announced for them to take their first dance.
And they're just, So, so it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. So couple number 2, Virginia and Eric. So this is a couple that I have mixed vibes about. I don't feel that they are not into each other, because clearly Virginia, once the wedding was over, was all over Eric, and he began to respond. He did say she's a little aggressive. And
his word.
But to me, it was coming off as ultra needy. Now, I don't know how much the alcohol played a part in, how giddy and needy she came across as being. And let's just put it out there, I have never been a drinker. And
I drank once or twice.
And Eric is not a drinker.
No, not that he doesn't. He's just not a drinker.
Yeah, and I do not want anyone to, think I'm judging. But she comes across as a drinker. I mean, she started that morning and
was it morning?
Well, she started when they hit the hotel.
Before the wedding, they had shots. Her and her girlfriends had shots.
She needed a shot then.
And she had champagne. To put on her makeup.
And then she needed the drink. And yes, okay, you're nervous, right? Somebody said you need to
eat something.
Because I'm assuming that when you start putting that much alcohol in your stomach and you haven't eaten, are you setting yourself up to get sick?
Now, that's a question for someone who has never been a drinker.
There you go.
Yes, you need to eat
Alrighty
for the
then.
Alcohol to eat on something.
Alrighty then.
Versus
and she wouldn't eat. We don't know if she did or not, but from what we saw, she didn't eat.
And again, we saw that in previous shows.
And it loosened her
bachelorette
up.
Party, she drank to the point where she was a solo act in the bathroom. So.
And then after she got married, when they were talking together before meeting up with the family, she talked about having a cooler for them.
In the room.
And
she brought a cooler in the room.
And then about 3 or 4 times, as she's getting to go take the pictures, I need a shot.
Mm-hmm. I need some wine.
Everything was about alcohol. And at one point, he looked like
he was wondering.
He was a little.
He had
a quizzical look on his face.
Quizzical. That's a good word.
Thank you. Yes. A quizzical look on his face. And again, when she talked about the cooler, he did a little nervous laugh. So, there's attraction there, yes. Mm-hmm. And he feels like she's bubbly and she is all that. But to me, it was like a bit much. It was kind of over the top bubbly, like a mixture of nerves, alcohol, and wow, he's good looking, and relief.
Yeah.
Nerves, alcohol, and relief. And so we'll see how that plays out, because
things do settle down.
He comes from a very conservative family, and Mama was looking at her too at some points like, Now, here's the other discussion that we had about Eric's mom and dad. So, when his friend did the toast and gave Eric's dad props.
Kudos.
He's,
giving
and kind and
considerate.
And then mom, he was like,
you'll figure that one out for yourself.
Wow. Now, I, as a female mom, thought that came across as a little shady. Because after you've given dad all these accolades, and you gave mom not even a half of one. Yeah. You even if she is, serious.
Whatever
she's protective. She's a mama bear. She's protective of her son, who has already been divorced once. Okay? And you can't even say, she's loyal, she has your back.
Or she has her son's back. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. He said, you'll figure that one out on your own.
I didn't like that.
It was totally awkward. Totally awkward. And again, from a guy's point of view, I can't imagine from a new wife's point of view how to take that. I really can't. From a guy, I thought of it as a challenge, but that's a guy's mentality. Okay, if I have to find it out for myself, then okay, cool, I will. But as a woman, love y'all to death, y'all are different. That's the bottom line.
We're supposed to be.
And you are.
We've been made to be different.
Which is great for men. But when y'all don't deal with each other, y'all catty. That's a word that has often been used. But to not give any type of segue into, y'all will, you will find your relationship.
It was left right there, and I didn't like how that came across.
That was awkward.
For the mom,
or
for the new wife.
Yeah. Virginia.
But I felt more for the mom. As a mom, I felt for the mom. But we'll see. Like I said, she's a mama bear.
But I think she understood it.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that she didn't understand it. But
it's in that setting.
It could have been done better.
Totally different.
It could have been said better, even with still getting the same thing across. True. So that's
maybe he wasn't the right toaster.
Oh well, he got the job.
Oops.
And if there was somebody else, we didn't see them. So we'll see how that unfolds over the course of the season. So our last couple, Brianna and Vincent. Again, good vibes.
Yeah.
I loved how he and his boys prayed.
Awesome.
Before.
Awesome. And it was just the fellas before he went downstairs, and they sent him off, and they sent him off with a prayer, for his future.
And I hope they didn't scare him, because from her mama calling her extra and saying, I thought she would have been a bridezilla, to the friends and family every other word was bossy.
Mm-hmm.
To, I mean, they just like, I don't think he has any
reservations.
Well, no, I was gonna say there is no
question.
secret about how strong she is.
Yeah.
Because her family and friends just put that all out there.
Because bottom line, without the accolades, I mean, she's a construction worker. So she deals with men.
She's an engineer.
Yeah.
On construction sites, but she's an engineer.
She's a construction worker on how to build construction sites.
Give the girl her props.
She's an engineer. She gets paid, but she deals with men day in and day out.
True. And I know how that is.
So you have to be assertive. You have to stand your own ground. And sometimes you have to be a little extra just to get the respect that you know you deserve.
But I think he has a kind of personality who will be able to hopefully offset that.
Well, I think he has the type of personality that will allow her to be who she wants to be. Because he will give her...
is.
Or true. Or why would you want to be anybody else? I mean, but you have to play a role in her environment, in her work environment. Mm-hmm. So at home, you don't want to have to be that too. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, I think that he will allow her that freedom to be who she wants to be, her whole self. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, and he definitely got a clue of the support that she gave him when she asked what he did. And he told her what he did. Mm-hmm. And she was like, look at you. Yeah. That's awesome. And you could kind of even see right then, you know,
that's a relief for him.
His face kind of like lit up.
Yeah.
You know, because she gave him props.
Yeah.
When the last relationship he was in, that's why it broke up, is that she didn't support.
Yeah.
Right. She didn't support what he was trying to do. So I got good vibes from them.
I did too.
And you know, they got all giggly and you said silly.
And I don't know, you know, if she just thought his hands were sticky on her shoulder when they had their first dance. But she told him he could put it lower. And he did.
So cute. So anyway, so there you go. Yeah. It's a short night tonight because there's not that much to talk about and only 3 couples. So it'd be very interesting to see how, you know, the other 2, you know, what happens with the other 2 marriages, the weddings, I should say, the other 2 weddings, and then what happens as they begin to prepare for their honeymoon, where they will begin to really start getting to know the other person. Mm-hmm. That process will start in earnest. So
spending time.
We're glad that you joined us for this week's recap, and we look forward to talking about Married at First Sight next week. Until then, stay safe and peace.
Enjoy.